Legion by Lenovo.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to week 5 of the Chisholm Invitational. I am back once again. Formal casting can't get rid of me that easily, especially when I bring my incredibly debonair-looking sidekicks with me. We have Hedgie back as always, and yes, I called the big boss a sidekick today because I'm living dangerously. Joining us to have a little discussion about the importance of community is, of course, the head of this entire endeavor, one Mark Mendez. Mark, thank you for joining us.
No, thank you for having me. I mean, last week's match was absolutely amazing, and the CI team will attest to this. Well, a few that walked into the staff room as I was cheering like a madman. It was absolutely fantastic. I love the work that both of you bring as well to this. Thank you so much for being a part of it, and thank you for having me tonight.
Yeah, it's always fun when we get to have a chat both on and off camera, and especially with sort of events like this and the importance of high school esports and sort of fostering that same sort of community environment that we see in other traditional youth sports as well. I mean, I'm sure a lot of the older generations have or should have fond memories of getting together, playing their football, local football club, local school events and all that. And to see that also carry over, you know, where you get to meet and intermingle with other players. And then in the esports world as well, seeing that blossom and grow in a similar facility, it's always good to kind of take that step back and sort of remember why we come to love competition like this to begin with.
Absolutely. I mean, community is all about bringing people together, right? When we see things like this or any opportunity that's like this, we can see people overcoming adversity, and adversity being stuck at home or lockdowns, you know, especially with this current climate. We can see these kids coming together to, you know, not show their fear, to create positive friendships and create positive communities. I mean, you're saying about older people playing video games. I guess I'm one of those people in those areas. I used to go to time zone lock-ins, and we were locked in for a couple of hours, and we used to put coins on the top of arcade machines to prove when we could play next in an arcade, creating those positive communities and bonds, and made so many friends that way. You can see the images up here. There we go, up there in the middle of the screen. Yeah, where is it?
It is that way.
In the screen. I asked the teams last week, and full disclosure, on Discord in our community, asked them to take photos of them playing or where they are, just to show the power of how these opportunities and these competitions bring them together. I mean, there's not one unhappy face there, probably because I told them to look happy. But at the same time, there is not one unhappy face there, masks or not. These kids have been absolutely amazing. I mean, on the Discord alone, we've got so many different trends that have come through. Every time we do a trivia night, they put up an animated GIF of incoming with a ship coming in. We have a tea convention. It's been absolutely fantastic. We talk about video games as things that are a way for people to escape and a way for people to be in a position where they're not a part of society overall, right? I think this proves otherwise. We can see the evidence that people do want to come together and people do want to practice in positive behaviors. I mean, shout outs to, we have achievements on Discord, and these achievements are for students who help out others. You know, we've got Carrot Kid, who is absolutely amazing. She has done a fantastic job for the entire tournament in bringing students together. Ryder, Whaley's. I mean, I'm doing all these shout outs to all these students because they've been absolutely fantastic. And I really do appreciate having them on board, not just as competitors, but as active participants in positive conversations and bringing people together. I mean, I'm sure both of you have memories of when you first started in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I know for myself, it would be, again, I'm kind of in that middle ground, I suppose, because I was starting university at the time, living at University of Queensland as it was, looking for communities to join up with. And even though I didn't, and still to this day, not an anime fan, the anime club was hosting a League of Legends tournament. And I, of course, had to sign up and play because I was still really into that game. And it is my only competitive achievement was it was me, the silver player, with a bunch of plat diamonds and I think one like master or something. We went through and we won that tournament. And I remember like just being exposed to that experience, getting to meet the other teams. And nobody knew I was silver, despite the fact that like I was just being hard carried. I think I played Leona every single game. And it was just essentially go in now. Okay, cool, done. I'll just be your Zenith Blade puppet. But it worked out, and it was really, really sick. And those are still people who I communicate. Like the team that I got slammed together with are still people who I reach out to and talk to today on occasion. So, and that was like, what, 10 years ago? So, yeah, like without games like League of Legends, never would have happened. Granted, they still try to push anime on me sometimes. We'll leave that where that is. But we can still find ways to get along.
Absolutely. I mean, I did apply for actual meta high school esports in high school, and unfortunately I wasn't able to get us to do the tournament there. But now, in a few years later, I'm casting it, so it's kind of a really cool thing to be able to have that opportunity and meet a lot of cool people through that. And even just with Samsoc, not only like meeting a lot of people and having a lot of friends through Samsoc as a whole and casting, but was able to get the opportunity to coach Exile, and I've made so many close friends from that as well. So yeah, it's just something that's can so quickly, just in a few months, you know, you can make so many friends and build new communities because of it.
Shout out to Matt Barnes, by the way. Just going to throw that out there. Shout out to Matty Barnes.
And those who don't know, Summoner Society, Samsoc, is our community sponsor for Chisholm Invitational, and they have been absolutely fantastic, providing us with gear to send out to our students, our competitors, and also as well support a really positive environment, especially in the gaming scene in OCE that has been shaken up quite a bit in the last couple of years. They've been there as the backbone to support these communities, which I commend them, and I'm also very, very grateful to have them on board. I wanted to also say as well that it's not just, and thank you for such a gracious introduction there, Max. Thank you so much. You're too kind. There is a lot of other staff members who are involved in this, and they donate their time for a not-for-profit tournament that just provides opportunities for students. So I'd love to take all the credit, and thank you so much. But if I didn't have a strong team to support this process, this wouldn't happen. We really need to remember all the teachers as well that are supporting these students inside of these matches, that are giving up their time to make sure that they can facilitate the happiness of these students in this environment. It is crucial for us moving forward, but it's also as well such a great feeling to watch your team be so happy and win their matches. Like tonight we have Our Ladies College versus St. Columban's. Our Ladies College are a brand new team, and I can vouch for this. The first time I ever clicked ranked, which was in season 2, right? And I'm a bronzy, okay? So in season 2, first starter, it is anxiety driving because you don't know what to expect. You could be up against someone who's really, really great. and sometimes you are, and you lose games, but it's about learning and about giving it a go. So do you know what? Our ladies college, hats off to them. They're doing such a fantastic job in the tournament, and I reckon it's awesome that they're giving it a go and starting at the very beginning, because we need to remember our foundations, right, and where we started from to where we are now. And we've just heard Hedgie's story Hedgie's story, that side, sorry, I'm inverted. Hedgie's story about where he's come from, and that there is proof in itself that you always start somewhere and you've always got to give it a go. That's what makes a strong person. That's what makes a leader.
Yeah, absolutely. That will be the case. And we will be watching and cheering on the Novelty Legends from Our Ladies College in their match today for sure, as their journey within this great game is still at its beginning. And, well, they do have a bit of a contest up against them today. It is going to be, I do feel, a challenge for them, but it's a challenge that hopefully that they will learn and benefit from, and who knows, they might even find a way to overcome it. That is something we will get into, though, in a few moments' time. But for now, Mark, one last time, I'd like to thank you for joining us and having this discussion. Always a pleasure to see you on camera, and always making me feel a little underdressed as per usual. I might have to suit up next time as well.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and shout out to everybody on the Chisholm Invitational Discord. You guys are awesome, and you are what's making this opportunity, this event possible, because you are the ones that are driving a positive community, and that's what we want to see. That's what everyone wants to see, and thank you so much.
All right, thank you. And on that note, let's get back into the action. We're going to be going straight into looking at where the standings kind of lay right now, Hedgie, because we're into week 5, playoffs getting ever closer right now. As we just take a look at our initial standings, I believe this is Pool C and D we are coming up with. Sorry, no, that's Pool A and B. We are starting at the top. That's all good to know. Maroons currently sitting atop their standings right now. They're 4-0. The Echidnas in Pool B, 4-0 as well. You also have a few teams chasing, though, if in that fight to get into second place. The Macaulay Fire and UIF at AQ, each 3-1 at the moment. So that is a bit of a rivalry that could be budding. Similarly, Lakers Legends, they need to hold off Alt F4 and the SEC Selfie, and that could be a challenge to look for moving forward. However, when we go to Pools C and D, we get a better look up at our matchup for today. Now, Pool D has been a one-team affair thus far. The Cyber Sharks still sitting atop that pool, 4-0, looking to go 5-0 to end off what's been a great start of the season for them. But I see you at BBC right behind them. We saw that team play last week, and they looked quite good. However, Pool C is where our matchup is going to be today. STC Gold, undefeated, 4-0, cannot afford to ease up on that gas pedal as Free Jungle and Team 1 right on their tails, each sitting at 3-1 record. Meanwhile, the Novelty Legends, the other team we will be seeing today, have still yet to find that victory. But as mentioned before, this is a new team. They're still finding their identity, still learning this great game of League of Legends. Today's going to be a challenge for them, but eyes will be on them to see how they can adapt.
Yeah, absolutely. And every game's an experience, right? I mean, like, a really good quote from a very smart person that I've heard a lot. I guess the quote's from myself, so that makes a lot of sense. But anyway, is, you know, you learn more from your losses than your wins a lot of the time. And so when you have these losses early in the season, maybe you can really learn from them and grow. And hopefully they can find their footing in this game and potentially bring home a W.
Absolutely. I mean, our eyes and hopes will be with them as we move to take a look at these lineups for today, starting, of course, with that team that is undefeated. And let's be honest, when you're coming in undefeated as well, it comes with expectations that you're going to be a clean team. You're going to execute your macro well. You're going to have your lane management down packed, and the team synergy is going to be there. So when we look at SCC Gold, of course, it is the Great Finger in top, Lord Ash in mid, Lawbringer in bot, Vicious Os in jungle, and Unkindled Ash in support. Well, we're going to be expecting big things from this lineup. In particular, I want attention to be brought to the bot lane, as I feel that could be where a lot of action stems from.
Yeah, well, clearly got some pretty good KDAs, but we've got to target the jungle as well, right, Form? I mean, you know, one of the only things we've ever agreed on, you know, that's a very small number there, is that we both like junglers. So he's got 11 kills, he's got 7 assists a game. You know, he's only having 2 or 3 deaths, which is a very, very nice statistic there as well. So, you know, could all come from that jungle pressure and maybe potentially focusing around that bot lane as well with that.
Yeah, well, the reason why, too, I was bringing up that bot lane, because I do agree the jungle pressure probably will be coming from SEC Gold. When we take a look at the Novelty Legends lineup from Our Ladies College, we have Dumpling defense in the top lane, Kosiast. I'm sorry for getting names long again. Kosiast in mid. Cat Kashikat in bot.
That's cool.
Bibka Bibbles in jungle. And Piri 555.
Yeah.
Or we could just go Piri 555 on support. But the big thing is, this is kind of, if we're going to see Novelty Legends come through, I am going to be looking towards that bot lane, and it comes solely to an experience factor. The KDAs don't tell the entire story there. Kit Kashikat is the most experienced player on this team. She does play in that bot lane, so I'm expecting the shot calling and the focus probably to be around that bot side if she has assumed the role of shot caller, which is what I would imagine. Now, again, when I say new experiences for everyone, just because she's experienced at the game, that doesn't necessarily mean she's, experienced shot calling and coaching and perhaps leading a team as well, which that will fall on you if you are that experienced member. So even at that token, I'm sure Kit Kashikat, just like the rest of the team, is being kind of put in a new position right now, and we'll see how they face under what could be a very, very strong opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's a really, really good point. I mean, you can be a really, really good player, you can be the best player in the world, but if you're not actually good at other aspects of the game, like shot calling, like leading your team, then sometimes it's not as valuable. And the other can be true as well. If you're not as good at the game, I mean, I think Core JJ would be a good example on Team Liquid, where he's not the best player, he's not the best mechanical support or the best, player on his team, but the way he leads his team and, shouts in terms of shot calling. And I mean, if you've listened to him on any of their mic checks or whatever or whatnot, you can hear a very, very strong voice from the team, and he leads by example with that. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can affect your team positively. So not only just in that kills category, not only in that assist, not only having low deaths, but also leading your team through shot calling. And it can be as, if not more important at a lot of times.
Yeah, and we will see if that shot calling will come into play. Again, when I look at this matchup, if I'm going to play the honest game, it might be a bit more one-sided to our favorites, but that's why you still need to play the game, because the unknown is what we're here to learn about and provide new experience for all these players. So any given moment right now, we do have the go-ahead to go into these picks and bans, and hopefully we'll get right into this. So I'm going to ask the age-old question, Hedgie. What sort of champions are we going to be expecting to see today? Because there's recently been an update right now. Some interesting nerfs have come through, and unfortunately for the bot lane, it feels like a lot of those key items have kind of been hit. I'm curious, how much is that going to affect the meta here today?
It's actually a pretty big patch, and I'm kind of still consuming it, and we've been sending messages back and forth with my team all day on it. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting one to look at. Key change, my favorite champion has been buffed in a Mumu, so I kind of want to see a Mumu floating around here. That would be really epic.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I mean, probably not as meta-defining as some other champions. Lucian, which has been one that has been picked a lot in pro play, is one that is heavily affected, so I'll be interested to see what type of build and what type of angle people are going to do if they do pick the champion. But yeah, just a lot of key changes, and might see some of the champions affected by those buffs or nerfs in our game today, and it is live, so yeah.
Who questions my ability?
I mean, for me, when I'm looking at this matchup, though, I have to acknowledge all the changes, the buffs, the nerfs, and perhaps the meta kind of making a more ability power and perhaps tank jungle focus. Hey, I'm down to see Mumu in that jungle. If I am right now playing in this game, I'm not going to be paying the utmost attention to it, though, especially if I'm going to be on this red side right now. If only because at this stage of the game is, wow. Wow! No! See, the buff's too strong. They're ahead of the curve. They know he's on that meta right now. All we need is an Urgot ban, apparently, and we're good to go. But no, back to the point I'm trying to make. If I'm looking at this red side right now for the Novelty Legends, I just want to see them play a easy-to-execute team composition. Safe laners, easy, go button team fight, a bit of area effect, a bit of sit back damage, and just try and maybe go for the wombo or go for the pick. Just to have that clear identity with the champions they select, but still have it be an easy to execute one. Leona, even though she's been actually nerfed, is still a pick that I would recommend for this side. So I'm very happy to see that is the direction that the Novelty Legends are going.
Yeah, I mean, it is a nerf, but it's not really a big nerf in just terms of how powerful the champion is, and just that easy CC. Able to provide a lot of engage for her team, and would be very good in the early game, but as well in the mid, late, and late game, she's very powerful for her team. And Sejuani also focuses very well on that aspect of just high CC, high team fight ability, very, very safe. Hard to do badly with them, I guess. But Kindred and Darius locked in. The Great Finger trying his best Adam impression. from Fnatic, but Kindred also picked up a champion that I absolutely adore. I think she is absolutely broken. One of the best junglers in the game, in my opinion, but has been picked up here. Why are you?
I'm agreeing. No, I'm agreeing. And I really like this pickup into a Sejuani because I have seen aggressive Kindreds do such terrible things to passive, slower junglers. The ability to invade and harass from essentially the word go is one of Kindred's unique traits, and you can shut down an enemy jungler if you have lane control and if you are willing to take those risks. Granted, it can be go horribly wrong, but right now when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, yeah, I would be taking the Kindred in this situation. It's absolutely the right pick. And reason why I'm like so hype and agreeing with you is because I feel Kindred is actually grossly underrated right now. So to see this one get locked through, like, yeah, no, we agree on junglers. We're good. Jungle takes, we're always going to be on the same page, all right? So yeah, let's get this Kindred going.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing I love about Kindred is that she isn't inherently bad at anything, and I think that's a reason Xin Zhao is in the meta as well. I mean, if you look at both of those champions, what are they actually bad at? There is a very small list there, right? They're good in the early game, good in the mid game, good in the late game, able to bring team fight ability, able to bring early pressure, able to do a lot of things. So, two very good champions, but Kindred has been picked up here. Kayle now, so very safe in scaling. You'll be happy with that one, Formal as well. Very good late game scaling champion.
Yep.
Very good insurance as well. And then obviously Ari was brought in as well, so just a bit of CC, and the dash as well provides a lot of safety into that Vigar, who is a bit of that scaling variety as well. Okay, Graves has been picked up, so we might have a Graves or a Kindred in a lane. Graves is a pretty good laning champ.
It's going to be Graves' bot lane, Viego support. That's what I'd be guessing right now.
Are they going to lock it in?
No.
Galio. Okay, that'd be better. Okay. I was getting a bit scared there for a sec. That might be just an ADC Graves, which is actually potentially viable. It isn't being played a lot, but it is able to play in the lane. It's able to play in the jungle. Could play in the ADC variety, but it is a bit short range in the early game, so not a bit of an interesting one there. But the Galio as well brought in for that engage. So two actual comps that are quite safe. A lot of engage. A lot
I want
of
this
damage.
Ezreal. I want this Ezreal bad.
I do like Ezreal. Yeah.
Well, no, okay, so I'm going to go back to story time that we actually kind of touched on before in that pre-show right now. I said how I played Leona throughout the, it was the Smack tournament. That was the UQ Anime Club. They're called Smack, and they still exist to this day, might I add. But it was like the first Smack League of Legends tournament, and our bot lane was Leona Ezreal every single game, and it was that level 2 power spike where you just sort of got this big burst of damage. This is like season 1 or 2 for League of Legends as well. Like, it was a very different looking game back then, but that combo was still just as dangerous. And on a day that we're focusing on communities, to get this community throwback coming from this young team, it makes me happy. And this is just kind of exactly what I was looking for, sort of, when it comes to an easy to execute team fight. It's a little bit too late game than I would have loved. I would have liked it to be a bit more early, because when you go late game, you need to survive. And when you see the aggression that's going to be coming from their opponents in this matchup, it's going to be a tough challenge for them. And they might have accidentally kind of pushed themselves a bit too late for when their competition really becomes alive. However, they have that identity. It's an easy to execute team fight. They have a throwback to old community smiles as well, and I don't even think they were planning on that. So it's like tick, tick, tick. I love the composition right now that's been put together by this red team.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of champions that scale very well in this game. Ezreal, Kayle, Sejuani, Graves, Vigar, Kindred. I could go on, really. Every champion here is pretty impactful and good in that late game. Just some real hyper-scaling picks as well. So it'll be interesting to see how it does play out. I think, yeah, definitely the top lane actually could be a point of contention early in the game, as Kayle is a relatively weak early game and laning phase champion, and Darius is the complete opposite and very good in the early game. So that could potentially be a target, particularly with a Kindred that will have the priority and the ability to get some early ganks in. Could look to build that community up in the top lane and really attack this Kayle.
Yeah, I do see that avenue for sure coming from the Kindred, as I don't know how much kill pressure is really going to be established in that bot side unless we're looking at counter engages, and in which case the earnest is going to be on Yissus to be paying attention or having the lanes communicated like, okay, they're going to be going on this next wave. Are you going to be around? All right, counter engage, boom. Galio, obviously, if it is in the support, which I do imagine it's going to be the support Galio and not support Vigar, that is a great role for them, especially into something like the Leona, who Leona might go in, all of a sudden Kindred comes out of the bush, Ezreal feels nervous about it, and then unfortunately for Piri 555, you're kind of stuck out of position and not really where you want to be, one of the pitfalls of Leona that all in. This matchup, it does look to be an interesting one for sure. I mean, the snowball is going to be a bit of an element I do fear, unfortunately, for this red side. I am still kind of expecting STC Gold to get some early leads through that Kindred and look to sort of accelerate this game. It's all going to be about staying alive. If we can see the Novelty Legends play a smart laning phase, get themselves to the mid game with not too much of a gold deficit, and then push that into the late game, then maybe we could see some miracles happen. That's going to be the challenge for this matchup.
Yeah, and I'm definitely looking at the Sejuani to try to negate what Kindred can actually do, because that is a really hard matchup for the Sejuani. So if she can play it well, then it could be very, very valuable, and is a very good late game scaling champion. But into Kindred just a really, really hard matchup. I'd say even probably potentially Sejuani's worst matchup if I'm looking at it. So if the Sejuani can kind of turn that in her favor, though, it could definitely be very valuable for them. I
really do like these team compositions, though. Like, I want to take a step back and actually appreciate how much I enjoy each of these team compositions. I know they're not the most meta picks, but both of them do kind of have that clear identity. I mean, you look at this blue. I mean, I know we've been talking a lot about the Novelty Legends, and I do want to talk more about what STC Gold has put together. That said, we are going to be throwing it to a quick break. We are going to be having to go through a pause while we buffer and load ourselves into this matchup, so do not fret. We're going to be talking about STC, their win conditions, and, well, watching the game itself when we return. Welcome to Summoner's Rift, everybody. Look how well we timed that one out. We are on the Rift for our game of the afternoon. STC in blue taking on a very defiant squad from Our Ladies College in red, as we are already seeing some pings and peeks at an invade, actually. Unkindled Ash on the support Galio, doing a little bit of a wander. This is an aggressive-looking bot lane. I mean, a Galio with Ignite tells me that they could be hunting for some early kills as we're going hunting. A bit of a death push around the corner. No wards being placed, though. That's okay. Lord Ash is going to find out the team, and the death push will be procced. Hit catch Ash, cat. Hit catch a cat. Is going to be the easy target. Is able to get away. A heal will keep Beaky Bibble alive, and no one goes down. Only wait. Whoa. Well, a flash was used late, and I was about to say they got out with just burning heal. They did lose a flash, though, so it's going to be a little bit disappointing right there, but it's from the jungler, not the end of the world. I'd have to say, although that was scary, the red side did come out all right.
Yeah, they actually all got out, which was awesome. So they do escape it. Before we start, that's something very important. And I just want your real analytical answer for it.
Yes.
On the blue side, we have 5 skins: Dungmaster Darius. We have Senator Grubs. We have Spirit Viking. I don't know if that's correct. Bad Sansa Vigar and Gatekeeper Galio on the other side. Absolutely no skins. What's your take on that? How does that affect the game?
Skins don't come into play until you reach level 30. It's something that you apply in ranked to assert dominance in situations, and I think the skins will come eventually when we look at that red side. But I thought you were going to talk about the double Dark Harvest bot lane we were seeing from STC Gold right now. That is not something I've seen very often, and it tells me they are going to be very, very aggressive. Speaking of which, that's a nice two-man taunt right when we hit that level 2. Lawbringer's going to continue to try to keep this lane back, and this is what you need to do against Leona lanes. Poke them down at level 1 before they can assert that lane presence. I'm really impressed that SEC knows what they're doing here.
Yeah, and obviously they're going for that poke or damage output with the Dark Harvest, so definitely looking to really attack this lane, but they are surviving, so they're doing quite a good job there. But yeah, Sejuani did have to actually recall, I believe, just going quite low. Sejuani is not very good in the early game in terms of being able to clear, and had to back off after that revolution. Now just heading top lane. Yeah. What's going on? Looking for a gank.
Looking for a lane gank, it looks like, or just perhaps giving some help and support over to Doubling Defiance, who is stuck on that top stage. The Great Finger now probably wondering, wait a minute, I was doing so good in my lane on my own. Now there's 2 enemies here. All right, fine, I'll take you each on. Still is not afraid to push forward, and if anything, actually could be getting some help themselves, as Jesus OCE has run to that top side. Meanwhile, down below, we can see an attempt for the taunt. Not really going to hit it, as well as a bit of an exchange in mid lane. A nice charm from Kostiad does trade with Lord Ash, but that extra level advantage in favor of the STC mid laner has the Viager up on top.
I'm just watching Sejuani. It's mesmerizing. Absolutely incredible.
Oh, we do see a 2-man stun and a flash from Fury 555. Barely able to get out of this one alive, and yeah, this jungle pathing again. We're gonna throw it back to this one right now. Late smite will keep the Sejuani alive. Great Finger actually going to go for a tower dive right now. Doubling Defiance, not level 6 yet, will bleed down, and first blood goes to the Great Finger.
That is so unlucky as well. I reckon if you got 1 or 2 auto attacks off there on that tower dive, maybe never going to kill. Just not have the ignite up. Probably could have used it, but yeah, just very unlucky not to get the kill there. But it is poke coming through from the bot lane, but they're surviving it. You know, they're doing an okay job to keeping that lane, so doing a good job there. But yeah, definitely coming down, definitely doing a lot of damage, and is being a bit hurtful. And Ezreal is one of those champions. Obviously, they're not very short, quite short range. You want to poke around early, but Ezreal's not really a strong early game champion. Just in the fact that, you know, he can get poked out, he's not really going to attack you too much until he gets like 1 or 2 core items. So he is very easy to harass. I think that's what we see. Pro play Zeke come in and just shut out the Ezreal and so kind of doing that a bit here earlier.
Yeah, we are seeing that, as now we even have a little bit of a jungle pressure being established up above. Yissus OCE looking for a bit of a cheeky invade right now, going to clear out some camps, and we're starting to see the Kindred pull ahead in terms of this jungle tempo and pressure. 3 camps up over Bibica Bibble at this stage. I'm just going to call her BB Bibble, just because I think that's a fun name, and I struggle to say Bibica, so I hope that is all right with her. But BB Bibble is just fun. And yeah, BB Bibble, still kind of trying to learn the jungle. I think that's an impression I'm getting from this one right now. As you can see, another engage, a great taunt, and the follow-up damage is coming through. Lawbringer has one more auto, but opts not to use it. The arcane shift back by Kid Cash a Cat will keep the Ezreal alive.
Going to be able to save their lives again, but Kindred is here. They are very low, and the potential dive could come in.
Oh yeah, a bit of a harassment.
Oh, the passive.
The great finger and Duncan time. That's going to be another foul. Meanwhile, Yissus has found a flank and has gotten behind Kid Cashy Cat as well as Fury 555. He will go down to double kill to the Kindred. And this is what we were a little bit afraid of, I feel, Hedgie. The snowball could come into play. And already 4 kills up. It looks like SBT is starting to get a roll, and why not try and find a fifth? The damage not quite there. The charm might turn things around. Cassiad doesn't want to stick with the play, though. However, she will back off.
Yeah, that's what's kind of alluding to. At those high levels of play, Kindred is going to have a lot of presence, and just a lot of ability to really attack a Sejuani and gank, get presence, get vision, get everything he can. So he's doing a good job there with that gank in the bot lane. Getting the smashing direction so on control of the objective. So very, very good use of the dive there, and the bot lane doing a really good job to poke and keep them in that lane so he doesn't really escape. Darius on the top side as well, getting a few kills. Big CS lead as well, so doing well.
That's a flash. That's not a smite. That's not a good sight as well. BB Bibble. It was close last time. Barely got away the first fight with the Krugs. The second time, the Krugs get their revenge. A little bit awkward right there. A little bit of tempo lost, but at the end of the day, those death cooldowns are still quite low, and although it's an unforced error, it's not one that's you can't come back from.
Trying her best. Doing what she can, so yeah,
Krugs hurt.
There. You know, I've been executed in ranked games, and I'm not
yeah.
I have.
By the Krugs
Probably.
as well?
I'm trying to think the last time I got executed.
For me, it's the Krugs. The Krugs usually level 2. If I'm like, you know, not paying attention, watching lanes, my champion stops autoing them, I look back down, all of a sudden I'm like, uh-oh. It's always the Krugs that get me.
Yeah,
Krugs
I mean,
or Raptors. Raptors are the other one that can be deceptive.
The greatest always, you know, make mistakes sometimes for me. You know, sometimes we don't ban set. You know, sometimes we make these mistakes. So
That said, if you get taken down by Scuttlecrab, then we might have some things to talk about. Either way, Kid Cat is going to get jumped upon. The tower dive looking oh so clean. Fury 555 again is going to try to desperately hobble away, but the collateral damage from the Lawbringer picks up another kill. It's 6-0, and we're not done. The great figure flash engaged. The guillotine is available. Come on and slam. Welcome to that jam dumpling defense. That's another kill picked up for the SVT side.
yeah, LeBron James up there in the top lane, you know, making work in this League of Legends game, doing quite well there. But you know, Gordon Hayward plays League of Legends. I'm not sure if you know who Gordon Hayward is. Yeah, he plays League of Legends. He's a Trinity main.
I was just last night actually. I took a trip down memory lane from a couple years ago and watched the NXT versus WWE Vessler match again. Again, the match itself was kind of one-sided. However, I really enjoyed seeing I'm a Cutie Pie tell, at the time, I think it was champion, or at least close to it, Seth Rollins, here's what you're going to do. You're going to flick Teemo, and we're going to do this strategy I like to call running it down, and then proceeded to lead them all in a chant of run it down, run it down, run it down. This was not a strategy that was successful. I do not recommend this strategy. Try not to run it down, even if, you know, sometimes celebrities do it. Although at the moment, I mean, running it down underneath that bot tower does seem to be working for SVT. They pick up another kill.
Yeah, I think that's a strategy we may have adopted on Monday, sorry, here at XR, but
it wasn't Teemo mid though.
It wasn't Teemo mid at least, yes, it was
another catch right there. Tossy Acid is in trouble, and gets their first kill of the game as Lawbringer found a way to get behind Kid Cat, who's not going to be able to escape from this one. One more auto should do it. Actually, the heal gives them a second chance. Meanwhile, back up top is a very early use of that Divine Judgment, and unfortunately, The Great Finger is going to go on a rampage as a result. Darius 4 kills up. A heroic entrance trying to knock up Fury 555 does not connect, but with the Ignite, with the minions, the kill will be secured by Yissus as we see SBT. And again, here's the thing. We know this is a team of more veteran players versus a team of newer players, but this is still a tournament at the end of the day. And we saw those schedules back at the start, and we know that SBT, they need to win this game. Like, they need to defend that first place position. And although this one might be a bit of a rough one right now for our ladies, it still is a situation where they've got to be respectful of that competition, I guess. And I do appreciate that SBT are still going all out.
Yeah, and I mean, it's point again, but like you've seen in the highest levels of competitive play, that 10k gold leads can go down the drain, and even this weekend, right? Rogue were up 10k against Mad Lions and still managed to lose, so it can happen as well. But yeah, SBT so far doing quite a good job to close out the game and just get these early solo kills and leads. Doing a very good job in that respect, and yeah, just kind of dominating and just really using the Kindred really well to attack this Sejuani now. Oh.
Yep. This is just a case, unfortunately, of the entrances to the jungle not being warded up allows alleyways for the opponents to come through, and when you're behind, having enemy becomes so important. In the top lane, it's gotten to the stage, and this is going to sound a bit defeatist, but there is not much dumpling defense can do. If the Great Finger wants to push, like, the best move for dumpling defense is actually to just straight up walk out of that lane, and that is such a difficult position to be in. That's where we sit right now. And the reason why I'm going to be bringing up a couple of these aspects of, like, okay, make sure you have your entranceway for the jungle warded, you know, playing a bit further back in lane. Even if the farm is further ahead, you kind of got to wait for it to come to you. These are strategies you need to employ in situations like this for that hope of a comeback. That, or I dare I say, even start looking to group as 5 right now and try to find some miracle picks to get some sense of momentum back in your side. Looking for plays on the Rift Herald when you've lost all of your tier 1s and are 5 levels down. That's probably not the right go, and Great Finger is going to help BB Bibble back to the base where she can regroup and hopefully get back into this match.
And the rest of it, yeah, as well. Okay. It does have Ignite and probably Teleport. Is a good summoner spell in this matchup, particularly when you are one of the more scaling champions. Just missing actually.
Ooh, that Event Horizon didn't miss though, as it does get an arcane shift out of Kit Kashyyykat.
It's a tough matchup. We knew it was going to be a tough matchup coming in. And it was tough from the laning phase, and it was one of the pitfalls that we did highlight of this red size competition, where like they have great scaling, they have that identity, but you need to have the confidence to survive that early lane to get there. Perhaps they had that, however, it just didn't come to be this time, and the aggression we're seeing coming out of the SBT has proven too much to handle. Case in point, this was a blasting zone over the wall straight into the top. That was good, but unfortunately no follow-up damage was there for Coach the Acid, and that means Dumpling Defiance is going to go ahead, drop the Divine Judgment, buy as much time as possible. Eventually will fall. Flash forward from Lord Ash. Again, only gets the arcane shift out of Kit Kashyyykat, who is 3 levels down against a baleful strike that could be coming her way, and that's why that zoning is also important for the Ezreal.
Yeah, and as long as, you know, at the end of the day, even if it is a tournament, even if it's a competitive competition, you know, as long as they're having fun.
You know what? Even in a competition, and even when you're the advantage, when you make a cool play, it looks very cool. Great Finger flashing over the Zenith play to get into Kit Kashyyykat. Gets themselves a double kill as well with a couple guillotines, and that's looking pretty good right now for this blue side. 21-0 kills up, not even 15 minutes into this game. And you know what? I'm going to give credit to the tenacity of BB Bibble right now. Went right back to that Rift Herald. She wants to take it down, I believe. As it is happening, though, Unsignaled Ash is looking to engage underneath the towers. Does find 1 kill, and this could be a push that could actually end the game at this stage. 35 falls as well. However, back up top, the fight for the Herald. I want our kill to be there to do this. No! No! The Herald wins the fight. Meanwhile, back at the base, it's going to be a double kill secured by Lawbringer. They're going to start looking for half at these Nexus towers. They're sticking around. They might be trying to end this game. That I wanted. I was rooting for BB Bibble right now. who unfortunately is just walking straight into a monster. Yeah. Hedgie, are you still with us? Okay.
But, they did get their first kill though. So that was
They did get their first kill, and they did need that, and now they're going to make a play for their second. Oh my gosh. The damage from Lord Ash right now, as well as Yissus, it's just been too much to handle. Lawbringer trying to chase Dumpling defense down, has no more mana, but that's okay. Yissus will follow it up, get their 7th pick of the game. BB Bibble trying to pick up whatever farm she can. Winds up falling to the guillotine as Kid Cashy Cat is forced to stand in the fountain and watches all of the rubble, all of the destruction around her just piles on, piles on. No safety in the fountain. Fury 555 ripped out and falls. And that's going to do it for this game, as we can see Yissus going ahead and ending this one. Would like to see the rest of the team do so as well. Final score 33-1, a solid victory for SBT.
Make the early game will work, and obviously they had the hard scaling as well, so the early game wasn't as good. But you know what? I enjoyed watching that Rift Herald 1v1. That was intense. That was awesome.
The wrong Herald won. I was rooting for BB Bibble, or Bibika Bibble. Bibika Bibble. There we go. I did get it right at the end. I was rooting for Bibika Bibble right there. Jungling is hard. All right. I think you can agree with me on this one. Jungling is the hardest lane in the game. And even though people think, oh, it's just right-click camps all game long, it's a lot more than that. So for everyone who is learning the game and putting their hands up and saying, yeah, I want to go in the jungle, it's like playing the catcher in baseball. It's only crazy people agree to do it. So even though it wasn't the best game for Bibika Bibble, you know, hats off for going out there and giving it that try. And next time, you'll get that, Herald. Trust me, you'll be able to take it down.
Yeah, 100%. It was very, very close. But yeah, no, just looks like they had fun, you know, having a good game. And at the end of the day, that's what this is about, you know, having a good community, making some friends, just having a bit of fun with League of Legends. And at the end of the day, League of Legends can be a very fun game. So definitely hope they had a good time, you know.
And you know what? I had a good time here today, and I hope all of you had a good time who tuned in as well. We do need to name an MVP for this one, though, and I feel like I almost want to call an executive order on this one for a couple little reasons, but I want to give the MVP actually to that Kindred in Yissus OCE. I'm curious what your opinion is, but if I'm going to executive order, I will. Just a warning.
Yeah, no, definitely did a good job on the Kindred. Even got the dragons very early as well, and the bot lane dives are really good. So yeah, I'll definitely agree with that one. I like the pick in general as well in the draft. I think it's a good pick. So
yep,
yeah, gotta
and you know what I will straight up say it. I actually like the sportsmanship out of Yissus at the end comparatively to the rest of the team. I think Yissus did the right thing in ending that game as quickly as possible. That was something I respect, and you know, something to look at in the future. But as it stands, Yissus will get my pick for MVP. Bibika Bibble gets my pick though for, I think, you know, the player to watch out for in the future, because like I have high hopes. I'm just loving on the jungles today. Jungle is just a great role. We need more catchers and more submarine drivers in the future. Absolutely. But before we do sign things off, I would like to thank some of the people who help keep this event and make it possible. Summoner Society for providing prizes in the terms of art for our top 4 finishers. Taurus University for providing a location for our grand final to be held. And of course, Lenovo Legion for constantly supporting high school esports and events such as this one. Would not be able to do it without them. So a big thanks to all of our sponsors. And until next week, everybody, we'll see you out there on the Rift.
Legion by Lenovo.